Yeah, very good morning, guys. Fine. Fine. So last class we just been talking on how to handle errors. Error handling is what I was explaining, and I was just teaching you how to handle the client errors. And if at all you want to handle the client errors, we have three different options. I said you. What are the first option? Use status code based redirects. Yeah. Use status code pages. The first option is use status code pages. Second option is use status code pages with redirects. So when you go with this method, in the first method, you don't require to pass any parameter, default parameters. It opens your page telling you status code, code number, and it will show you the value. The number and the value. What is the message? Simple, very simple. 404 page not found. That's all. But we have another option called status code page with redirects. In this, we can design a page of our choice. We can design a page of our choice. So what did we do? We defined a controller in the project called error controller. We defined a controller called error controller. In that, we defined a method called client error handler. For this, we are passing a parameter. What is the parameter? Status code. Now, when you come to the program, when we use this method here, you can give the route value where you want to transfer. I want to transfer to the route called client error. And for this route, I want to pass the status code as the parameter. And the status code is dynamically picked up. So just a placeholder is enough. You don't require to write any logic for getting that status code. So this will automatically get you the status code here. And that status code value will be automatically passed on to this. See, route is matching. See, error controller, status code. And the status code is taken here. And with 400, will show you this message. 401, this show. To do this, we created one page. What is the page? Client error view. And the client error view, we have two things here. One is viewback.error title, viewback.error message. And that error title and error message, we are passing it from here. Sorry. The error title and error message, we are passing it from here. From here, we are passing the error title and the error message. So this error title and error message will reach there. And there, the code gets executed. Okay. So am I clear, all of you? So this is how exactly the things gets executed for you in this process. Okay. This is how exactly the things gets executed for you here. Fine. So this is how you use it. Okay. Now basically run it once. Yeah. Now let's call customer. And I'm just going to call a method called get customers. We don't have the method called get customers. Any name here, any wrong name. When you run this, you're getting it. See the address bar? The address bar has the redirect. See. Showing you the URL, client error /404. Is a 400 error, it will show you client error 400. Is another 401, client error 401. So you can see this comes here. And now you're calling the route. You're calling the route now. And value 404. Okay. So in this case, guys, if at all you just observe this once, hit F12, go to network. Calling the method called get customers. When I call the method called get customers, all of you observe a request went for get customers. From there, you can see it redirected It redirected to where? To 404, that method. And finally, the output came from there. So there is a redirection. First request went to where? Get customers. For get customer, request went to server. From there is a redirection. Again, the request went to 404 and get the output. Means how many requests are going here? 2 requests. One request is going to get customers first. Again, one request is going for 404. Okay. Now, we have one more method here called as with redirect, with re-execute. There's another method. So third option is with re-execute. What is with re-execute? Run. Redirect and re-execute are very similar. Only one difference. I'll show you that. F12. Go to networking. Just to see how the request will go. Just F12. And then just go to networking tab. You'll find network tab. Go there. We are sending a request to get customers. Okay, now hit enter. Now also we got the output. But what's the difference? Huh? Request went to get customer, and from there directly the result came. Means it did not call you. It did not call you 404. What is that? Nothing here. In the previous case and current, what is the difference is? In the previous case, what is it? Redirect. Okay, redirect method, re-execute method. What is redirect? Redirect means first the request goes to server. Server giving a response. What response? Not found. So immediately a redirection response will come to browser. A redirection response will come to browser. And after getting the redirection response to the browser, again a request goes to client error, that method. Status, whatever is the method, you go to that error and get. So how many requests are going on? 2 requests. Re-execute means what happens? Request goes to get customer. Server did not locate it. When server did not locate it, now server will directly transfer the control to re-execute that method. Which method? Client error method. Server will directly transfer the control to client error method, and client error method will send the response. Client error method will send the response. Okay. But see, the request went to where? Get customers method. But response came from where? Client errors method. The response came from client errors method. And that information is not known to the browser. The information is not known to the browser. Browser don't know that. So when browser don't know what the browser is thinking, the browser is thinking like the response is coming from get customers only, and the error is 404. Are you getting my point? So the difference in the first and the second one is, let me explain you again. In the first case, request goes to get customers. Again, a response comes to the browser. Again, a response comes to browser. Telling what? You need to perform a redirection. 302 response came. You need to do a redirection. So again, a request goes to client error /404. Now the response comes from client error. So browser explicitly sent a request to client error /404 and got the response. So it will show you. Here it will show you the request went to so and so page, and it will show you that information here. But in re-execute, what happens is the transfer from one page to another page happens directly on the server only. In the first case, it is happening from the browser. First you go to server, come to browser, again you're going to server. But here what happens? The request goes to server. Server will redirect you automatically to client error. Response is coming from client error. But request went to where? Get customer. Response come from where? Client error. Browser don't know that. Why browser don't know? How will browser know? I sent request to get customer, got the response. What I'll think? I'll think I got the response from get customer only. So that's why that client error 404 it is not showing. So it is going to show you a message telling you 404 not found. So what is it doing? Array, this page is not found. So this is what we call as re-execute. Redirect, re-execute, both are same. I'll show you. I'll just explain you. Watch. First, client request went to get customers. I'm talking about re-execute. Okay. Sends a redirection response to browser. Sends a redirection response to browser asking to send a new request, for client errors /404. Now, browser sends request to which one? Is the new client errors only? Sorry, client error, that's all. Okay. Now, browser sends a request to client error 404 and gets the response from there. So in this process, how many round trips are taking place? 2 round trips. 1 get customer, 2 client error. 1 is get customer, 2 client error. Okay. And this is all in case you call the method. What is that? Redirects. If you call the method redirects. Option 2 is re-execute. Option 2 is re-execute. Okay, don't use both, either or that. Is what I explained for redirects. If you use this method, which method? See, client sends a request to server for the page get customers, or for the view get customers. Okay, see, client sends a request to server for the view get customers. Okay, now what will happen? Server sends a redirection response to browser asking to send a new request to client error /4. Now browser sends a request to server for which page and gets the response from there. Okay, now in the second case, what happens is, see, client sends a request to server for the view get customer. Okay, server doesn't send a redirection response. Server will transfer the control. Server will transfer the control to client error 404 and gets the response from there. Okay. So in this case, browser doesn't know the response came from client error 404. That is, it is still thinking the response came from get customers only. It is still thinking the response came from get customers only. That's why you observe, all of you, the address bar is not updated in the browser. See, do you remember earlier the address bar updated? What is the address bar showing you? Client error /404. Now what is it showing you? Get customers. Why? What happens on the server is not known to the browser here. Are you clear? So how many round trips here? 1 only. In the previous case, 2 round trips. In the current case, 1. So which one to use? If you want to update the address bar, use the first option. No, sir, address bar doesn't require to be updated. If the message is shown to user, that's enough. Then go with the second. You want to decrease the load, second option. Why? Multiple round trips won't be there. But otherwise, re-execute and redirect, both are same. Understood? So three options to handle the client errors. What are the three? Use status code pages, use status code page with redirects, use status code page with re-execute. So redirect, re-execute, both are same. Both we do in the same style only. Okay. And I given you a clear picture here how to write the code in both the two cases. How to write the code for you in both the two cases. Okay. This is how you're going to write the code. So here we are going to call the method. So yeah, status code, and if you want to use that, first create an error controller and is all the code you write. Is all the code you write. Now go to program and there you comment this one. Which one? Use status code pages and now call use status code pages with redirects. Now give a route. Okay, the control will automatically transfer the to the given route. And last one is use status code pages with re-execute. Now also same. Comment it and uncomment this one. That's all. Nothing more than this. You don't require to do any changes. Just comment the method call. Which one? Use status code pages with redirects and call the method use status code pages with re-execute. Call this one. Once you call, it will perform a re-execute to you in this case. Okay. So these are the various things various ways how you can handle the client errors. Then what about server errors? The next option is handling server errors. How do you handle the server errors? So guys, if at all you want to handle the server errors, if at all you just want to handle the server errors, how do you handle them? Okay. So listen, if you guys wanted to handle the server error, there is only one method. There is only one method. Use exception handler. That's all. Multiple methods are not there. Only one method is there. What is the method? Use exception handler. And if you observe the code in your program class, already server errors are handled. There is a route here. What is the route? See, home error. So whenever there is an error, automatically control goes to home error. And you can observe it in the home controller. In the home controller, you'll be finding the error.cshtml and it will redirect here. Let us cause a server error. Let us cause a server error so that we'll understand it much better. How to cause a server error? Causing a server error is very easy here. What is a server error? A server error is basically an exception. Correct? Okay. Display customers will open. When I click on the view, display customers will come. Correct? Here, I'll do one thing. What you know? Throw new. Some exception I'll throw. Some exception I'll throw. Index. Array something here. Some exception I'm throwing. When I throw this, automatically the server error will come now. Exceptions. Server errors are nothing but exceptions. And you observe the middleware name is also same. The middleware name is also same. What is that? Use exception handler. Use exception handler is the middleware name. Okay. So this is the middleware name. So let us run this code once. When I click on the view button, exception should come now. Display customers. Click on the view, should throw you an error. See there, it is throwing you an error. An error occur while processing your request and is your request ID. See, what is it telling you? Development mode. Swapping to development environment will display more detailed information about the error that occurred. Actually, all these errors comes in the production environment only, not in the development environment. In development environment, it will show you a detailed error message. What error message? Remember that yellow screen? That will come. When you are in the development environment, go to JSON file and change this. What? Development. Oh, we need to change in Express. That's why without confusion, I'm changing up in both. Which server we are running again? Without confusion, let's change up in both the two places so that click on the view button. You're getting an error. Sometimes if you don't see the change, it's just a build problem, that's all here. Or otherwise, cache problem. Browser cache problem, that's all. You just require to clear the browser stray and try. Mostly should be a build error. First try rebuilding the code. Clean and build. Remember, clean will delete all the assemblies, and build will build you the assemblies freshly. I explained already for you in the C# classes. Yes, that's a build error, that's all. See, an unhandled exception will occur while processing the request. And you can see it is going to show you a detailed error message of all the things. So it is something like an yellow screen. What is the drawback with yellow screen? Remember, it shows the logic to user. For a developer, fine, but end user should not show this. Are you getting me? It is showing you what is the problem, where the error came. All this information will be shown for you on this place. In which environment? Development environment, but not in the production. If you change this to production, if you change this to production, now that detailed error messages won't come. In the place of detailed error message, an error page will launch. Yeah. This is what? A page. And telling you, array, if you swap to development environment, will display more detailed information about the error. That's what it is showing you. This is what? The development environment should not be enabled for deployed applications. It can result in displaying sensitive information from exceptions to end users. Clearly telling you also. And guys, this looks very wrong. Why? Why should I tell all these things to end user? Development mode, production mode. Why should I tell all these things to the end user? I did not like this. But by default, Microsoft has given this page and given to you and telling you this will happen. Already you have a home controller, and in the home controller, we have a error. That is the page what is coming. If you go to error, in that error, they have designed it. In that error, they have designed it. Are you guys clearer or not? Okay, so this is what they have designed. See, first it's showing you the request ID and telling you development mode, swapping to development environment, the development, all these things. I did not like this. I did not like this. Okay, let us go for creating our own page. Let us go for creating our own page. Are you clearer or not? Okay, so generally guys, these error pages are common for all. Remember, error pages are common. So always put them in the shared folder. Always put them in the shared folder. If you see, is the shared folder where I created the client error view. Same way, I wanted to add one more view in the shared folder. I want to add one more view in the shared folder. Just like client error view, let us call it as server error view. Server error view. Server error view. Client error view, server error view. Second thing, let me go to error controller. In the error controller, see, yesterday you defined a method called client error handler, na? Same like this. Same like this. Can I write a method? Server error handler. Are you clear? And here, simple. What is the route? Server error. And remember, guys, I don't have any parameters. Sir, exception details we can capture. We don't require anything like this. Okay, now come to program class, and in the program class, what do you find here? /home/error. Correct? I will change up this code. What? I'm changing up the code. Okay, just a minute. Oh, sorry. Commented and write. Just I commented that, and now I'm writing. What? Server error. Now tell me, when there is server error, where it will redirect? To the route called server error. And see now, it will come to here and executes this one. Same like client error, I want to get a server error page with a title and with a message. With a title and a message. Understood all of you? Any doubts? One table for user login credentials. When we log in, DB checks the credentials and gets into display the products table or the table. When I work with existing database object, I need to create another database object. Why another database here? Same database only. Why you want another database? Same database will do the job. Okay. Here, for client, different status codes are there. Now I don't have all these things here. Very simple. What is that? Title, message. Enough. No need switch case or any of this particular thing. Simply a title and a message is what I'm just going to put. Okay. So much more way how I'm just going to do it. And do you remember the view name? Server error view. What is the view that has to be launched? Server error view. So to do this, here we simply used a switch case and done. But there I don't require a switch case and all. First I need to get the error details. First I need to get the error details. How do I get the error details? Watch it all of you. Some exception occurred in your code now? Yes or not? You can get the information of that exception by calling http context dot features dot get and pass iException handler path features. So when I do this, this will provide me the complete details of the exception. What is the details of the exception? What is the class name? What is the error message? In which page the error came? All details it will return. Okay. Now I taken 3 view bags. One is error title. In the error title, what I want to show is the exception name. System dot index out of bounds exception. System dot divide by 0 exception. Remember this now? In C# you learned. I'm going to get it. How to get? Exception details dot error dot get the type. You remember the get type method? Dot name will tell you the class name. Next, will tell you the file path where the error got occurred. The name of the file where the error got occurred. Next, the error message. Every error is associated with a message now. You know get type and you know message already. If I set anything new, that is only part of the file where the error got occurred. And finally redirect into it, server error view. Now come to server error view. And in server error view, write the code to display all these values there. That's all. Write the code to display all these particular values there. Okay, watch it. What did I write? Error title here. Next, there is an error at path of the file will come. There is error at so and so file. And the details of the error are, Here shows your error message. Here shows your error message. So all of you can observe. Putting a breakpoint here. Putting a breakpoint here. Whenever the error comes, it'll go here. So when I run this, guys, when I run this in the request pipeline, when the request goes to server, at that time only I am telling, whenever there is a server error, take to so and so location. Whenever there is a server error, see, the request is coming to that. When the request is coming, then only I'm telling, whenever there is a server error, redirect it to. I'm telling to my server first only. I'm telling to my server first only. Redirect to so and so location. Okay. Let us call display customers. Again, request goes. Okay, again, request goes. Now you're getting the response. Next, I set view. When I say view, again, request goes. Exception is thrown or not? When the exception is thrown, see now, it came to this method. Why, sir? Because when the first request went to the server, I said to server, whenever there is a server error, take to this route. Which route? Server error, and execute so and so method. Now it will show you the details of the error. See that? What is the exception, guys? Index out of range. There is an error at which page? Customer, display customer. And the details of the error are, if you still want to customize here. I've given you an idea how to transfer the control. Are you clear? So if you want to display detailed client errors and detailed server errors, what are the methods I should use? Use status code page with redirects or re-execute. Here, use exception handler. Here one method only, guys. Use exception handler. Specify the route, that's all. When you specify the route, automatically control goes to that route now and executes. In the first case, I'm calling client error route. In the second case, I'm calling server error route. In the first case, I'm passing the status code because client error status codes are different. In the second case, I'm not passing any status code. But to do this, for both of them, I define my own controller. What is the controller name? With the two methods in it. First method, client error handler, server error handler. In client error handler, I'm redirecting to a view called as client error view. In server error handler, I'm redirecting a view called as server error view. And don't forget to put the both views in shared folder. Why, sir? Because the views which are client errors are common for all. The views which are common for all are always put under shared folder. I hope you are clear. This is how you are going to handle the errors of the client errors and how to handle server errors. A beautiful structured error handling mechanism is given compared with your MVC5. Compared with your MVC5. MVC5 also I said you exception handling. Go and check it out. How to handle there and how to handle there. Here they given you much more better structured way to handle the errors compared with the MVC5. That is the beauty of MVC core error handling mechanism. Both Dinesh. You record to write in both. Understood error handling? Yeah. So here we started the topic of handling errors in ASP.NET Core MVC application. First, handling client errors. All this about handling client errors. Second one, handling server errors. Yeah. So the other things. The next topic is ASP.NET Core identity. What is the ASP.NET Core identity? Actually, the ASP.NET Core identity is a mechanism what we just been have for authentication and authorization process. I already taught you authentication and authorization in your MVC5. If at all you want to use authentication and authorization MVC5, we just gone for a Windows authentication, but Windows authentication is not right now. That is only intranet. But if you go for internet, what we should use? Forms authentication. We designed a register page. We designed a login page. We just used the filters and redirect. What filter? authentication filter. We created our own authentication filter class. In that, we have on authentication request and on authenticate challenge. We have some two methods. We implemented the logic in the methods and completed it. Okay. But there we are not strong enough. What we are not strong enough? We did not provide an option for password change. We did not provide an option for a password change. Forgot password. I want to reset the password. Option is not there. We did not provide an option for mail confirmation. You know what is mail confirmation? Generally, when you register in some websites, you enter your email ID. When you enter your email ID, have you noticed it? It will give you a mail. It will show you a message after registration. What is that? We have sent a mail to your registered email ID. Go and confirm it. What is the need of that one? If you don't go your mail and click on that confirm, your account will be activated. Reason is when you created the account here, you entered wrong email ID. You entered registration completed. Tomorrow you said forgot password. Forgot password link goes to the wrong email ID now. So now you will not be able to change the password. Your account is over, finished. You can't do anything. That's why when sensitive materials are there, what they always say is, go to your email and click on the confirm. Why? To make sure you entered a correct email ID. To make sure you entered a correct email ID. So that's what we call confirm email. So like this, basically, we did not do all these things. And still, I want to provide an option for a Facebook authentication. I want to provide an option for Google authentication or a Twitter authentication or a Microsoft authentication. Like this, we did not give all these options. To do all these particular things here, Asp.net provides you a beautiful concept called identity framework. What is that? Identity framework. Understand, I'm not telling Asp.net core. Asp.net provides a beautiful option called identity framework. The identity framework, what it will do, it will provide you all the options for you in this means. It will create your registration tables, all tables, everything it will create for you. It will create the required tables. It will do all the stuff. Everything is ready-made. We only have methods. You call the methods will do. You want to confirm an email, a method is there. You want to validate the user, a method is there. You want to register the user, a method is there. So you don't require to write all the logics now. So it will provide you the database. It will provide you tables. It will provide you procedures. Required tables, procedures. It will provide you the model classes, annotations, and built-in methods to call them and perform the actions. We just have a concept called Asp.net Identity Framework. I did not explain in Asp.net 5. Reason in Asp.net 5 also it is there. 2 times, why to waste my time? So I thought let me explain the advanced version. And the advanced version is Asp.net Core Identity Framework. Are you clear? So it is Asp.net Core Identity, let us say, framework. So this is the advanced version, Asp.net Core Identity Framework. A beautiful option. Your job is only to create the views and write a simple minimum logic. Rest of all the things will be done by the Asp.net Identity Framework for you. Are you clear? So it is an API that supports UI login functionality for managing users, passwords, profile data, roles, tokens, email confirmations, all these things. Users can create an account with the login information stored in identity, or they can use external login providers that include Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Twitter accounts. Identity is typically configured using we need a database now for storing user data, SQL Server, to store usernames, passwords, and profile data. Alternatively, another persistent store can be used, for example, Azure table storage. Without using SQL Server, you can also use Azure. You can also use Azure. That option is also there. So how to work with it? So did you understand the basic background of it? It will do everything for you. It will do everything for you. So you are simply going to take the help of it, and rest of the things will be done by it. To work with ASP.NET Core Identity, do the following things. For the first one, install this package first. Install this package using NuGet Package Manager. Come on, let us do. I'm doing in this project only here. That's what I'm telling you. I'm making this project live. I'm going to make this project live. Finally, I will host it on Azure. Finally, I will host this on the Azure also. Okay. So guys, this Sunday also we'll have a session. This Sunday also we'll have a session. Maximum by next weekend, I'm planning to finish off. Will just be done. Identity framework. Next we have Web API core. I don't require to give explanation for you again. Web API core. Web API is now Web API core. Okay. So after completing identity framework, I'll show you hosting. I will show you live hosting on Microsoft Azure, Web API. Finally, one session I'll show you how to do this here. What is that is Angular integration. And again, I'm telling you, I'm not going to write any code with Angular or anything. I'll show you how to integrate Angular projects into MVC. You're learning Angular. In Angular, you will be understanding how to create the Angular pages. How that Angular should be integrated with MVC is what I'll show you. That's it. Is my point clear? So what we left out? Identity framework. We are started now. Continuity of this, I'll show you. Hosting. Web API core. Finally, Angular integration. That's it. So maximum by next weekend, we're planning to finish it. So let's have a session this Sunday also. Okay. Fine. Okay. Let me close all these things first. First go to Tools menu. Manage. Okay. Install Microsoft Asp Net identity.asp. Is what? Okay. Install this. Is the first step. Clear, Ara? Now, do one thing. What do you do, you know? You need a data context class. Right, to work with the database, data context class is required. Already we have a data context class. Already we have a data context class. And the data context class name is MVC code DB context, correct? Inherits from DB context. All DB context class will inherit from DB context. Then it will be not core na ASP.NET identity. In MVC5 it is ASP.NET identity. That's all, not ASP.NET core. So the question is in MVC5 also same? No. There it is ASP.NET identity. Here it is ASP.NET core identity. The name is different. Okay. So install it. Now the second step, all of you observe this one. To work with the database, all of us know that we need a context class. We need a context class. So what's our context class? Inheriting from, just change the parent here. Change the parent here. What is the parent? The parent is identity DB context. What is the parent I should use? Identity DB context. Identity DB context is the parent. Namespace issue, I think. Yes. You should import the namespace. Which namespace? Identity framework. Sir, but you said that all DB context should end from DB context. Now also I'm telling the same thing. Watch. What you're inheriting from? Right click on this, say go to definition. Identity DB context is going to inherit from identity, another identity DB context. Go to definition. Just use the go to definition options like this. Ultimately on the top, you'll find DB context here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Ultimately, if you go say like this, ultimately on the top, you'll be finding the DB context over it. Watch again, identity. So many classes are there. But somewhere on the top. So ultimately, DB context is your parent only, no doubt. I can't change that. DB context is the parent. So now, did you understand what did I do? Are you clear? I need to change this as identity DB context. Why? Because they have implemented some logic in those classes now. I want that logic. Ultimately, DB context is your parent. No changes to that. Are you clearer or not? Ultimately, DB context is the parent and there are no changes to that clearly. Okay? So fine. Now, what next? The next thing what you're required to do is, you have a method called onModel creating, which you are overriding. Right, when you override, always the first preference goes to the local. Yes or not? But actually, guys, the parent, what is the parent? Identity DB context is also overriding this method. I am also overriding, but first preference goes to local, correct? But I want that code also to execute. I want that code also to execute. Which code? The parent class onModel creating method also should execute. Just like we're giving some seed data, they would also have given some seed data. Yes or not? So what to do? Simple here. Is dot. Did you understand what did I do? I want the parent method also to execute. The child method also to execute. Both will execute. This is the third step. First step, installed identity framework. Second step, I changed the parent class name from DB context to third step. In the onModel creating, I'm calling the parent class onModel creating. So what will happen? My method also will execute. Parent class method also will execute. Both will execute. Maybe some seed data values are present in that. Okay, that's the third step. The fourth step, what we just required to do is, we need to register identity framework service. We want to use identity framework. There is a new service now. That service registration should be done. That service registration should be done here. Where you are required to do service registration means above builder.build that method. Okay, go to program class. So it's a service registration, not a middleware. Not a middleware. Middleware means below this line. Correct? Service means above. How to register? Registering. What I'm doing? Registering. Identity framework service. What are you doing here? Registering. DB context service. Array, we done it in the previous classes. And now I'm registering the identity framework service. What is the method name? Just like you're passing some parameters here, you're going to pass some parameters here. What is the parameter? Identity user, identity role. What is this identity user, identity role, you know? The identity user is a class which represents a user. Identity role is a class which will tell you the role of a user. Means the user is a manager, a clerk, something like that. So two parameters. Dot add entity framework stores, and here give your context class name now. What is context class? MVC code DB context means identity framework is going to use this class for a database communication. identity framework is going to use this class for database communication. Means a separate class is not there. Tell the class name here. Which class? MVC core DB context, because MVC core DB context is inheriting from identity DB context. Okay. So what did I do? I did not define another DB context class. Same DB context only I'm using of. So here I need to say that what is the DB context class name? This is the fourth step. This is the fourth step. Okay. Next. I given the detail. Register identity framework in our application by importing this namespace. You require to import Microsoft.asp.net core.identity. Basically, when I run that, that is already installed of, or that already imported of. Sorry. Already imported there. Okay. Next. You require to just use authentication middleware now. I want authentication. I want authentication. So I require to use the authentication middleware. I just require to use the authentication middleware. Okay. So where do you write it? Just watch in the program class, guys. Come here. Between use writing, use routing, and use authorization. Array, use authorization. Before authorization, what should come? Before authorization, what should come here? Authentication now. App dot use authentication. App dot use authentication. Now I'm just going to configure the middleware. Which middleware? Authentication middleware. Means before authorization, use authentication. And all this is after you see the route pattern. Check the route. Check the route. So how the route pattern is going to be presented. Now use authentication, authorization. Finally go to the location. Finally go to the location based on this pattern. Based on this particular pattern. So above authorization, authentication should be done. So this is the fifth step. Sixth step is you need to create all the required tables in the database. You need to create all the required tables in the database. All required tables should be created in the database. Okay, how to create the tables? If you want to create a table again, you just required to go for doing the same thing what I explained you. What is that? Migration. Migration, yeah, you require to go for creating a migration and update now. Okay, where package manager console, a new migration should be created and you just require to call the update. Okay, so how do you create a migration? Add migration. What is the command? Add hyphen migration. So this will create you all the required tables to you. Some name here, any name, but I think I given the name as add identity. The name is add identity is the name what I have used. Hit enter. And this is going to create you all the required tables on the SQL server. Which database? Why should I tell that? That all information is known to my context class. Array, my data context class, no yaar, which one? Okay, migration file is created. Go and watch. The migration file, up command. So it is going to create a table. What is the name? Hey, come on, fast. Asp Net roles, Asp Net users, role claims, user claims, user logins, user roles, user tokens. Down will be having all the commands to drop it, drop all the tables. What next? Update database. Update database. Now what will happen? The migration will execute now and all the tables are created. Before calling update, shall we connect and see? We have only one table here. What is the table? Customers. That's all. Go to databases, go to MVC core DB, go to tables, and you observe there is only two tables. One is customers and the migration history table. You know this table already. Okay. And now come to your project and update the database. Creating all the tables, showing all the information on screen. You can see there. You can read there. Package, create table commands and all commands it will show you there. Come here. Refresh. If you need to create all these tables, we can create here. What columns and all will become a big headache to identify them, designing them. Microsoft has made it in generic and creating of all the things to you. And you can go to the migration history table. You'll find a new migration there. Already we have one migration, initial migration. Now second migration. What is second migration? Sorry, third migration. Second migration is seed data. Third migration, add identity. Remaining all, I removed all those things yesterday. Update 1, update 2. If you want, you can just have. But I removed. I have only 3 things now. What is it? Initial migration, seed data, and add identity are the 3 migrations what I have. Okay, fine. What next? All the tables, everything is ready. The next thing what you require to do now is, define your model classes. Define your model classes. Is it mandatory? Not like mandatory. The existing, already there are model classes available, but those model classes have so many attributes in it. I don't want to use all those attributes. I want to use my own. I can define my own attributes now. So according to my requirement, my model class should have a name, a password, a confirm password, email, and mobile number. That's all. I don't want more than that. That has a lot of attributes. I don't want all those things. So 2 classes. One is for registration, user model. Second one, login model. Login model requires name, password, remember me. That's it. These are the 2 model classes what I just wanted to define. First one, user model. Second one, login model. Come on. Come to models folder. Use a class. And again, this is MVVM architecture. What is this? We are going to create this models only per view. But when we are ultimately dealing with the database, we don't use this model. We will be using existing built-in models. Remember MVVM architecture I explained to you in the ASP.NET 5. I created one class for creating the views. But when I dealt with the database, I did not use those classes. I used the built-in classes. Are you getting me? So this is only for view designing. That's it. User model. Come on. Name, password, confirm password, email. And I use the annotations here. You guys, you know annotations. I don't require to give you an explanation for annotations now. Required field, required in data type, display, compare validator. Required email address and what should be the display value. Required and the regular expression. Okay, regular expressions are what I just used. Second one, login model. Login model is the one what we created. It will do here. Wait. Why all worries for you? Wait. What I have? Password. Sorry, name, password. Remember. That's it. Are you clear? Okay. Either you can have name as the unique or email. Or email, you just use email here. I'm using name. I'm just having like a name to be a unique. That's what I'll maintain. Otherwise, in the place of name, you use email. Your choice. His name is like a user ID. His name is like a user ID. The model classes are ready. Okay. What next? Now, let us create one controller, guys. Let us create one controller now. What controller? Account controller, under which I want to write all the code for registrations, logins, change passwords, Google authentication, everything I will write in one class. What is the name? Account controller is the name. Right click, add a controller. So this controller basically deals with account management. Account controller. Account controller. Now in this account controller, start writing the methods. Start writing all the methods here. Okay. So first you require to, so you just want to work with the models here. So because you want to work with the models, first import is always common in controllers now, models. And now you're also required to import identity framework using Microsoft.Asp Net core.identity. Two namespaces. Models, identity is to work with all the identity classes. Okay. Now here, let's go for writing my methods. Let us go for writing my methods. Say, all of you, carefully listen. To insert a record into the table, I need the help of one DAL class. I need the help of one DAL class. Okay, I need the help of one DAL class called as user manager. I need the help of one DAL class called as user manager. And to perform login operations, when you want to log in, I need the help of a DAL class called as login manager. So two DAL classes in EDA. What are the two DAL classes? User manager. User manager basically manages the user creation and all these things. Login manager that deals with authentications and all. So what are the two classes you require? Two. One is user manager, second one is login manager. So are you going to write it? No, I am not going to write it. They are ready already in the identity framework. I need them here. Did you understand me? They are already ready in the identity framework. I need them here, that's all. So how are you going to get them? I'm going to get them using dependency injection. I'm not going to create the instances directly. Identity framework I registered in the program class already now. That will send me those here. See, in the program class, you registered the identity framework here, correct? You're passing it, see? Identity user and identity role, you're just passing it. And all these values will come directly in the form of dependency injection. I don't require to just define the classes, or I don't require to create the instance of the classes. So just observe. Can you understand this particular statements? You have a constructor. What are the parameters? User manager. Second one, sign in manager. This will deal with name of the class, understand here, user manager. It manages all the users now. This one, it manages the sign-ins, to you. And I am just going to get them in the form of dependency injection. Will send me the user manager and the sign-in manager here. I don't require to create the instances separately. That's again dependency injection what we have. Okay now? Now start writing your methods. What methods? First method to register. Register. Let's create a view. Let us create a view now for register. Right click, add view. I went for just a minute here. Nothing. I went for like these are directly selected off my templates. That's what I'm checking. That's all. Okay. Select raster view, not raster view empty. Till now you selected raster view empty now. Now select raster view now. What's the difference? If you select raster view, it will ask you what is it? Model class names and all now. It will ask you model class names and all. You remember this one? This window you will work now. What is the template? Insert. Insert means create na model class. What is it? User model. For registration, user model. For login, login model. Now, user model. Okay, context class. MVCDB context. MVCDB context is the context class what we are using. Click on the add button. It's installing some extra NuGet packages, taking time. First time this happens. Error. Maybe it's a build problem. First once build your project and then try. Build. Even in our MVC5 also we faced this problem, remember? The same thing only. Might be add view, raster view, choose create template, model class, user model, context class is this, and error running the selected code generated, the entity type user model requires a primary key to be defined. To use a keyless entity type, all the hash key on model creating. For more information on entities, user model as a primary key, na? Why this error is coming? Nothing to do. A minute. Did I do anything new? After the view is created, nothing. Click on the register action method, select add view in the window, open rather view, click add button, template create, model class, add button. Okay. Thing is, no, the mistake is create here, model class, user model, don't select the context. Why? This table is not existing in the database now, our own model. So it is searching for a primary key. It is searching for the primary key. So when I select the context class, it is just checking for this class in the database. Why context class? This is not related with the context. This is our own class here, not based on database table. That's why. That's all. That's my mistake. That's all. I should not select the context class there. Yeah. The view is ready. Using all tag helpers. Created the view using tag helpers, see, along with validations. ASP validation for, all these things now. Array validations, and this is to display the validation summary, the validation summary messages and all. Might be some changes you might require to do, not like any things. Array, just to update the UIC, it has two H1 tags. One is register, one is Yodra model. Multiple times, two things will look awkward. Array, simple registration view, registration view, and simply change this. Minor changes here, run it, see the output and just see what is not required for you and delete it. What is not required and delete it. In the bottom, we have only submit. I have only submit. I don't have a reset option. Come on, let us add it. That changes we need to do manually, I'm telling you. What should I add? Reset. What do you want? Reset. And here the caption is create, not create. These are the minor changes what you just required to do. Run the view, you see the output, how is it coming, and then just do all the required changes. Minor changes you do. And again, it is showing you back to list. There is no list here, nothing. Generally, when this will be useful, you know, we used to do display all, display single. In that, create will come. Create will take you back to display again for that reason. So, these unnecessary things, delete it. Are you clearer? Okay. These unnecessary things, just delete off all the appropriate things. Unnecessary, what is required, can be deleted. So, you see, it was importing you already on the top. And if you think this is going to be lengthy, do that. What is that? I don't think so. It's already imported. We don't require. This is enough, guys. This is enough. Why? Already the namespace is imported. It was generating you the code. But if you come here, the namespaces are already imported for you under the view imports file. You must see the view namespace imported. So you want to make it simple, delete of that all. That changes. You should understand by this particular time. You are working on the views for many times. Unnecessary things remove off on the page. That's all. But when it generates, it will write all these things to you. So what you feel you don't require, remove it. So registration view is ready. So tomorrow let us write the code for completing the registration process and the login process. How to register and how to log in. Okay, let's stop here. We'll meet tomorrow.